I'm Frances.
I'm Tommy.
Hello, my name is Nathan Kogel, and I'm going to tell you about how guitars changed cultures and generations and genres in very different ways. But more specifically, I would like to start with and tell you how in the 1970s, rock and roll affected the Vietnam War. Now, it might be hard to see how music could affect a war, but it did. In 1970s, they had a festival called Woodstock. And at Woodstock, this was a rock and roll festival where many people who were required to go to this war in Vietnam decided to burn their draft cards and do a protest. If there had been no festival, then there would have been no burning of the draft cards, and this would have greatly changed the way the Vietnam War would have turned out. Many singers are well known now, though, because of the internet and the access on social media. And many people do not know about the singers or the rock and roll of the 1970s, but today I would like to educate you on some of it. I have always listened to rock, and I do not consider myself a scholar on it, but I do have a knowledgeableness of it to myself, and I do enjoy it, and so I'd like to share some of that with you today. Rock brings people together who would not normally come together, and rock and roll is just music, but it also gives something for you to start a conversation with somebody you hear listening to the same music that you would not normally talk to in certain settings. I also will show you how important rock and roll is for guitars, because without rock and roll, many guitars would have never gained famousness, specifically the acoustic guitar and the more famous electric guitar. I would like to also talk about how rock has encouraged people. Guitars show their emotions through the way that they play their music. Many of them have very famous solos in their music where they express the fundamental part of playing a guitar. There are no words in there. And many people enjoy this a lot about Southern rock specifically because it is something that shows how fundamental and how talented some of these guitarists actually were, and the lyrics did not drown out the actual tune. Guitarists also, who are very famous back in the 1970s, used this as a way that they could control something. Many of them came from very bad backgrounds, and many of them used this as a way to escape from that. Many of them also did not have money to go to expensive tutors. Many of them started in garage bands and started by themselves, and they did not make large sums of money right off. But music is one of these things, though, I believe, that is one of those things that is universal. And many people don't realize this, but music culture is something that is universal. You don't have to have any words in it, because I will say this with an experience from my girlfriend Mackenzie that she experienced in Africa. In Africa, she went to this tribe where she had to be around some people without a translator. And at this meeting they had a little small service in it. And she could not understand what they were saying, but they were singing and they were dancing, and she could tell by the way they were playing the instrumentation, and she could tell by their facial expressions what they meant. They meant well, they loved her, they were kind to her. And even though she didn't understand what they were saying and they could not understand her, she sang and danced with them, and her facial expressions and the way she danced with the beat helped them understand what she meant as well. Another reason I love Southern rock specifically is because of my personal love of it, because of my dad. Is because with my dad, when I was younger, I would always ride around with him and listen to it while we would work. And it's something now that when I hear those songs, I sit back and I think about how me and my dad used to do all these things, and how he still takes care of me, and how he always will take care of me if I'm ever needed to, or if I'm ever hurt. Southern rock also is great because of the values. The values it has is simple love. It's not all about the money, and it's not all about impressing the girl. It's about treating the girl right, and it's about showing her who you truly are and showing your true expressions. And I also love it because of the activities that they do and the outdoor activities. The outdoor activities are something I've always been close to, because it's something me and my dad have always done while we go outside, and we go hunting and we go fishing, we go working outside. My favorite band also is the Allman Brothers, and they talk about this the most, and that's why they're my favorite Southern rock band. So as I close, I would like to repeat how rock brings people together who would not normally come together, and it also brings people from different genres together, because the guitar goes into many different genres other than rock. A huge part of bringing different cultures together takes a lot of time to do, but rock and roll is something that also helps people who would not normally to do that. And it also helps us appreciate families. So what I would like you to take away from this is that it is a passing of knowledge to future generations, and to help me with that. Thank you.